Beenie Man, often called the King of Dancehall, has lived a life as colorful and unpredictable as his music. From dominating the charts with hits that made him a global star to facing personal struggles, controversies, and even health scares, Beenie Man's journey has always kept fans guessing. Yet behind the fame and the headlines, many still wonder, what really happened to Beenie Man? Was it the controversies that slowed him down, or something much deeper? Join us in this video as we dive into the highs, the lows, and the untold truth about one of dancehall's most iconic figures. At the height of his fame, when Beenie Man seemed unstoppable, tragedy nearly struck. The Grammy-winning dancehall star found himself in a hospital bed after a terrifying car accident that could have ended his career, or worse, his life. It happened early one morning in Kingston. Driving alone in his Hummer at around 4 a.m., Beenie Man lost control of the vehicle. The SUV ran off the highway and flipped, leaving the artist badly injured. Clyde McKenzie, an executive at Shocking Vibes Productions, confirmed the news with grim details. Beenie Man had suffered broken ribs and a broken nose in the crash. What caused the accident was unclear. Police offered no immediate answers, only saying the investigation was ongoing. Questions lingered. Was he wearing a seatbelt? Did fatigue play a role? For fans, none of that mattered. What mattered was that the King of the Dancehall was suddenly fighting through serious injuries, and the future of his music career seemed uncertain. The timing couldn't have been more surreal. Just weeks before the crash, Virgin Records had shot a music video with him for Dude, a track that had already dominated the charts in Jamaica and was poised to make waves in the United States. His album Tropical Storm had been released in 2002, and with Dude on the horizon, he was on the verge of another global breakout moment. This was the same artist who had already broken into the U.S. market with Who Am I and the album Many Moods of Moses in 1998, and who, just a few years later, had taken home the Grammy for Best Reggae Album with Art and Life. By the early 2000s, Beenie Man wasn't just another reggae star. He was one of the biggest names in dancehall, leading the genre into mainstream recognition. But now, everything was hanging by a thread. As he lay in hospital with broken bones and a battered body, fans and critics alike wondered, would Beenie Man recover? And if he did, could he still command the stage with the same energy that had made him a global force? Beenie Man did recover from the crash, but soon he was plagued with something else that would haunt him in his career. What could it be? Let's find out. For all of Beenie Man's success, one shadow has followed him throughout his career: the controversy around his lyrics. Some of his songs drew heavy criticism for appearing to encourage violence against homosexuals. The backlash grew so strong that in 2004, he was actually removed from the MTV Video Music Awards lineup after protests from gay rights activists. That same year, the trouble continued overseas. When Beenie Man landed at Heathrow Airport in London, police stopped him after one of his shows in the UK was suddenly cancelled. Feeling the heat, he issued a public apology through his record company, trying to calm the storm. By 2005, there seemed to be a turning point. The well-known gay rights group, Outrage, announced they would suspend their opposition to him after he promised not to perform any songs with anti-gay lyrics. That year, he went on to perform in London without incident, but even that didn't settle the issue completely. Just a year later, Beenie Man claimed that his lyrics had been misunderstood, that they were not meant to target consensual same-sex relationships, but were aimed at condemning pedophilia. In 2007, reports surfaced that Beenie Man, along with other artists, had signed the Reggae Compassionate Act, which was supposed to be a promise to drop homophobic material from their music. But controversy followed him again when he later denied ever signing it. By 2010, the protests still hadn't gone away. Demonstrations and pressure from activists continued to derail his career, forcing cancellations of concerts in places like New Zealand, Belgium, and the Netherlands. This period became one of the defining struggles of Beenie Man's career. No matter how big his hits were, the weight of this controversy seemed to follow him everywhere, shaping both his image and his opportunities on the world stage. So, was Beenie Man able to escape this stain on his career? Keep watching to find out. For years, Beenie Man's music carried a stain he couldn't escape, the homophobic lyrics that many believed defined parts of his career. But in 2012, something shifted. After years of boycotts, protests, and canceled concerts around the world, Beenie Man made a rare and public apology to the gay community. In a video message released on May 14th of that year, the Grammy-winning reggae star spoke directly to those who had long criticized him. "I have nothing against no one," he said with a tone of humility that fans hadn't heard before. "I respect each and every human being, regardless of which race or creed, regardless of which religious belief you believe in, and regardless of which sexual preference you are, including gay and lesbian people." Then came his most striking admission. "Do not fight against me for a song that I sang 20 years ago. I was a kid. Now I know that people live in the world that live their life differently than the way I live my life." It was a remarkable turnaround for an artist once known for the harshness of his words. Beenie Man, whose real name is Moses Davis, had built much of his reputation in dancehall on shock value. Songs like Damn from 2000 painted a violent fantasy of executing all of the gays in Jamaica, while Way You No Fi Do in 2004 openly declared, "All gays must be killed." For many, those lyrics weren't just music, they were dangerous, real calls for violence that could not be ignored. Activists around the world agreed. Over the years, Beenie Man became one of the main targets of the Stop Murder Music campaign, a movement aimed at silencing homophobic material in dancehall. He was not alone. Other famous Jamaican performers like Elephant Man, Bounty Killer, and Buju Banton were also caught in the crossfire. But Beenie Man seemed to draw some of the strongest reactions, with venues across the globe refusing to host his shows. In 2009, PepsiCo found itself dragged into the controversy after Beenie Man performed in Uganda. They quickly distanced themselves with a strong statement. "We are appalled by his lyrics and find them repugnant. We are not associated with him in any way." For Beenie Man, this wasn't just about music anymore. It was about losing opportunities, sponsorships, and access to some of the biggest stages in the world. By the late 2000s, his concerts continued to be canceled in countries like New Zealand, Belgium, and the Netherlands. Everywhere he went, the backlash followed. For a global superstar, the cost was devastating, and it was this mounting pressure that seemed to finally force Beenie Man to reevaluate his stance. In an interview with Jamaican journalist Winford Williams on Stage, he admitted how deeply the backlash had changed his outlook. He explained that performing internationally had become nearly impossible because of the power and influence of gay communities and venue owners. "When I did this thing, it wasn't a Jamaican thing," he said. "If I want to play the park in New York, the man who you talk to is married to another man. The man you have to go to and talk if you want to play the park, he is married to a man. And when you talk to him and he says, 'Beenie Man, but you said to execute gays.' This is what I get all over the world. If we want to do that, we have to accept people like how we want them to accept us." For Beenie Man, it was a blunt reality check. The world had changed, and if he wanted to remain a global performer, he would have to change with it. When Williams asked him how he responded to those who accused him of bowing to the pressure, Beenie Man's reply was surprisingly simple. "You need to try it sometimes." This moment showed a very different side of the King of Dancehall. Whether one believes his apology came from the heart or from necessity, there's no denying that the years of boycotts, protests, and canceled shows had forced him to face the consequences of his past. But how did Beenie Man come to be known as the King of the Dancehall? Stay tuned to find out. Before the controversies and global fame, Beenie Man's story began in the rough but vibrant streets of Kingston, Jamaica. Born Moses Davis in the Waterhouse District in 1973, music was a part of his life from the start. By the age of 5, he was already toasting, Jamaica's early form of rapping, thanks to encouragement from his uncle Sidney Knowles, who once played drums for reggae legend Jimmy Cliff. It didn't take long for the world to notice his talent. In 1981, the young Moses entered the Tasty Talent Contest and won, setting him on a path that would define his entire life. Radio DJ Barry G soon introduced him to local sound system operators, and these connections helped the boy stand out in Jamaica's booming dancehall culture. It was around this time that he earned the nickname that would follow him forever, Beenie Man. At just 10 years old, he was already stepping into professional music. That same year, he recorded his debut single, Too Fancy, with producer Henry Junjo Laws. Laws also included the youngster on the 1983 album Junjo Presents Two Big Sounds, alongside established names like Dillinger, Fathead, and Ringo. His first full album, The Invincible Beenie Man, the 10-year-old DJ Wonder, came out in 1983 under the guidance of Bunny Lee, marking him as one of the youngest recording artists in reggae history. His first real hit followed soon after with Over the Sea, produced by Winston Holness. By 1984, Beenie Man was even recording with Barrington Levy, though that music wouldn't be released until a decade later. Still, his career slowed temporarily as he focused on finishing school and spent time abroad in the United Kingdom, the United States, and Canada. Those years away didn't dull his passion. If anything, they gave him a wider perspective on music and culture that would later shape his career. Fast forward to July 2009, and the boy once hailed as a wonder kid was officially crowned as the King of the Dancehall at Jamaica's world-famous Reggae Sumfest. It was the ultimate recognition of a career that began in childhood and had grown into a global phenomenon. How did Beenie Man manage challenges on his road to stardom? Let's find out. As Beenie Man grew older, he sharpened his skills by performing alongside some of the biggest dancehall giants of the era, names like Ninja Man, Admiral Bailey, and Shabba Ranks. These were the dominant voices of Jamaican music at the time, and standing next to them helped Beenie Man develop the style and stage presence that would later make him a household name. In the early 1990s, he found his creative base at the Shocking Vibes studio, where he worked steadily on singles. The success wasn't immediate. Much of that early material only earned him modest recognition. But everything changed in 1992 when he took the stage at the Reggae Sunsplash Festival. That performance gave him a huge boost, signaling that Beenie Man wasn't just another hopeful DJ. He was on his way to becoming a star. The following year brought even more drama. In 1993, a fierce rivalry ignited between Beenie Man and fellow dancehall star Bounty Killer after accusations that Beenie had stolen Bounty's style and signature catchphrases. The feud quickly spilled into the music, with both artists trading lyrical shots. By 1994, the rivalry was immortalized on the joint album Guns Out, and the two eventually settled the beef in the most Jamaican way possible, a live sound clash where both artists faced off to prove their dominance. But controversy aside, 1993 also marked Beenie Man's true breakthrough. That year, he scored his first ever #1 single in Jamaica with Matey, produced by Ephraim Barrett, Donovan, and Dave Mills. The track's success cemented his place in the dancehall scene. To top it off, he was awarded DJ of the Year, the first of what would become an astonishing streak of 8 consecutive wins. From that moment, it was clear. Beenie Man was no longer just the child prodigy from Kingston. He was now a force shaking up the foundations of dancehall. So, how far did he go in his quest for international recognition? Keep watching to find out. By the mid-1990s, Beenie Man was no longer just a local star. He was becoming a global icon. With guidance from legendary producers Sly and Robbie, he recorded cover versions of Bob Marley's classics Crazy Baldhead and No Woman No Cry in 1994, the latter climbing to the top of the Jamaican charts. Around that time, he embraced Rastafari, though he later clarified that he had always followed the Ethiopian Orthodox faith since childhood. His big break came in 1994 when Island Records signed him, leading to the release of the critically acclaimed Blessed, an album that established his reputation beyond Jamaica. Soon after, he began touring the UK, collaborating with Barrington Levy on a jungle remix of Under Me Sensi. The momentum didn't stop there. By 1995 and 1996, Beenie Man was teaming up with reggae greats like Dennis Brown, Tristan Palma, Lady Saw, Sanchez, and Michael Prophet. That same year, he dropped Maestro, a career-defining album that brought him major attention in the UK. From the mid to late 1990s, Beenie Man dominated Jamaica's charts, solidifying his claim to the title King of the Dancehall, a crown previously held only by Yellowman in the early 1980s. His biggest breakthrough, however, came in 1997 with the release of Who Am I? The track exploded internationally, going gold and introducing him to American audiences through mainstream outlets like Newsweek. That year alone, Beenie Man topped the Jamaican charts with an astounding 7 singles. He even made a cameo as himself in the cult film Dancehall Queen, cementing his place in pop culture. By 1998, Beenie Man was headlining Reggae Sunsplash and signed with Virgin Records to release albums in the United States, beginning with The Doctor. His run of hits during this era included Romy, Who Am I, and Girls Dem Sugar, featuring American R&B singer Mia. The accolades followed quickly. He won a MOBO Award for Best International Reggae Act in 1998, while remaining Jamaica's chart king. Then came his crowning achievement. In 2000, Beenie Man released Art and Life, featuring collaborations with Arturo Sandoval and Wyclef Jean. The album earned him the Grammy Award for Best Reggae Album, officially confirming his status as an international superstar. That same year, he even co-produced actor Steven Seagal's debut album, proving just how far his influence had reached. Beenie Man didn't slow down. In 2002, he scored a major hit with Janet Jackson on the duet Feel It Boy. By 2004, his biggest U.S. success arrived with the remix of Dude featuring Ms. Thing and Shauna, which became a smash on both sides of the Atlantic. His string of UK chart successes, Who Am I in 1998, Street Life, and Feel It Boy in 2003, Dude and King of the Dancehall in 2004, proved his crossover appeal. By then, the Associated Press was calling him a name-brand artist worldwide and dubbing him the reigning king of the dancehall reggae scene. His global visibility went beyond music. Beenie Man served as a judge for the Independent Music Awards, was announced to co-write and star in the film Kingston in 2008, and in 2010 released the EP I'm Drinking Rum and Red Bull, featuring Future Fambo, which grew into a full album the following year. He navigated legal troubles, including tax evasion charges in 2008, but was ultimately cleared. By 2009, he had signed with Brooklyn Entertainment to prepare new projects, showing his resilience in an industry that often shifts quickly. In 2014, history came full circle when Beenie Man and his longtime rival Bounty Killer recorded the single Legendary together, proving that even bitter feuds could give way to respect. 6 years later, during the COVID-19 pandemic, the two delivered a legendary Versus battle on Instagram, watched by fans worldwide and hailed by Vibe magazine as a clash of two of the most legendary icons in dancehall. And even as late as May 2025, Beenie Man's legacy continues to echo. His songs, I'm Okay and I'm Drinking Rum and Red Bull, were featured as a clue on the hit television quiz show Jeopardy! a fitting recognition for an artist whose music has become part of global culture. From Kingston streets to the Grammy stage, Beenie Man's journey is proof of how far dancehall could travel and how one artist could redefine the genre for an entire generation. Even with all his success, Beenie Man was once banned from entering the U.S. So, how did things finally turn out for him? Was he ever allowed back in? Let's find out. For more than a decade, Beenie Man's career faced a roadblock that few artists could survive. He was banned from entering the United States. Despite being a global superstar since the 1990s, winning both a Grammy and a British MOBO Award, the king of the dancehall found himself locked out of one of the biggest markets for Caribbean music. That's why his return was nothing short of a personal and professional triumph. Beenie Man finally secured a U.S. visa for people with extraordinary ability in the arts, and he stepped onto American soil not just as a performer, but as a guest of honor at the U.S. Virgin Islands Governor's Mansion. For him, it was more than paperwork, it was vindication. The work in the United States is different from the work in Europe or the work in Africa, he explained. In America, you can work every week, every day if you want, because you have 50 different states plus territories. It's very important for any artist to have that access. Governor Albert Bryan Jr. himself captured the significance of the moment, saying, "It was awesome to meet the man that livened plenty of dance halls for me." Welcoming him to the Virgin Islands was a special pleasure, not only for the privilege of meeting him, but the joy I know his music brings to people. But this victory didn't come easily. His attorney, Bridget Bennett, known as the Reggae Visa Lawyer, revealed that no clear reason was ever given for his repeated visa refusals. The denials simply marked him as inadmissible, with no details. She fought back by making the case that touring artists like Beenie Man don't just entertain. They create jobs, generate billions, and enrich U.S. culture. Her persistence paid off. For Beenie Man, it was just another obstacle overcome in a life full of them. As a child, he suffered from a severe stutter. Yet, incredibly, his stammer vanished whenever he sang. "Music gave me a voice so I can speak to people," he said. Not every early performance went smoothly. Honored with Jamaica's Order of Distinction, Beenie Man sees his career today as more than just music. It's about carrying his country's culture to the world. "Without our culture, you have no country," he declared. "We have to preserve the culture. Proper music, proper performances. If you have to take 100 pictures, you stand up and take 100 pictures. You can't be too tired when 10,000 people pay to come to your show." After years of silence in America, Beenie Man's return was not just about performing again. It was about reclaiming his voice, his place on the global stage, and his mission as a cultural ambassador for Jamaica. What are your thoughts about Beenie Man's life and the challenges he had to overcome? Let us know in the comments section below. Thank you for watching this video. We hope you found it interesting. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Click the next video shown on your screen to catch up on your favorite celebrity stories. See you there.